Mercedes, obviously, if you look at the timesheets, a lot quicker than everybody else. That's not something that's alien to us, of course. They led FP1 and FP2, and again, it's easy to jump to conclusions based on just seeing Friday's runs. Last year, they were quickest in FP1 in Austria. They didn't win the race, and they had all sorts of problems on race day. Today, yeah, there was quite a gap because Ferrari seemed to be all at 6s and 7s, and it is interesting to me that Racing Point is now inconveniently fast. I don't think there would be such a controversy about it if it was as fast as a Williams, for instance, but because it's got the cat amongst the pigeons now people are complaining about it. The long run for Sergio Perez, marginally quicker as an average than Max Verstappen on the soft compound tyre. When he moved to the medium, the gap actually became more pronounced. The Racing Point looked more competitive as they moved to the harder compound tyres. And if Friday afternoon's long run pace is to be believed, it does seem like Racing Point have a genuine shot of getting in amongst certainly the top 6, dare I say it, a sniff of a podium. Because if we assume that Mercedes probably a little bit too strong right now, with or without the DAS system that everyone's talking about, but certainly Racing Point could be racing for 3rd place, and that in itself is to be celebrated, because we haven't had, think of the last 7 years, 3 teams have won all the races for 7 years. The fact that we're talking about another team, an Interloper, coming into this and actually throwing the form guide on its head, that's something to be really excited about. What we do know is that if Ferrari have any pace, they really haven't shown it to us. And nothing that we saw on Friday suggested that they were holding anything back more than anybody else was, which does imply to me that Ferrari have got problems. And if they really were, as people think, burning oil in their combustion last year when they got all those pole positions, never took another pole position after the FIA clarified that rule, maybe their little trick up their sleeve has been removed, and perhaps they were leaning on that advantage too much, because they did not look good today. If there was supposed to be pace in FP2, we didn't see any of it, compared to Mercedes, of course, but also compared to Racing Point or Red Bull or even McLaren. I've been asked by a lot of people, what do you think will be different about this weekend? I think mistakes will compound mistakes in a way that we haven't seen in Formula One for a long time. So if a driver has a crash, firstly, there's a scarcity of spare parts, or well, at least there will be from race to race now. But also, if you have to change a power unit or a gearbox or something like that, the social distancing and everything, and the new procedures means that there's a greater chance of human error. And there's also a greater chance of human error at the start of the race, because the guys haven't raced each other for months on end. And last year, every car finished this race. And we've gotten used to the idea of everything being completely clinical and human error almost being taken out of the equation. With what the virus has done, and what with sort of mend and make do calendar has done, it means that we have a situation where people are more likely to make mistakes, drivers, mechanics, everybody. So that factors in. It's almost, we've relied on safety cars and rain for the errors to come in. Now the errors might be sort of baked into the cake a little bit more, and we might actually have genuine mistakes. It's one of it's the shortest lap time of the year. So I think last year Verstappen stayed out as far as lap 31, which put him out of kilter with everybody else. Everybody else was stopping in the early lap 20s area. Verstappen ran a bit longer. So there's options available there. So if we assume, therefore, that everybody would be starting on the soft tyre, I would expect to be a one-stopper coming in at around lap 20 to 25. The question is, could you go on to medium and make the medium last the rest of the day? I don't know if that is doable. Certainly it's more feasible than it was last year, because I don't think we'll have the high track temperature last year. Track temperature peaked at 58 degrees Celsius last year, which is really high. That's really high for Bahrain, in a day race at Bahrain, let alone Austria.